If your screen is not calibrated, don't even bother to edit your images. Hi everyone, it still surprises me that people spend a lot of money on kit and they don't even work on a calibrated monitor. How can you have confidence in your image edits if you don't even know if your screen is showing the correct brightness or colours? In this video I'm going to show you how to calibrate your screen with a calibration tool such as the Spyder here. Also, if you like the video, please consider subscribing. When you open up your screen calibration software, you'll usually get some warnings come up like this, and the important ones are making sure that your screen has warmed up for at least half an hour. Also, make sure that the lighting conditions are correct and that we've got no intense light coming on the screen. I actually work in blackout conditions, so I'll be bringing my blind down before I actually start the calibration. Also, if you have to reset anything, do so. When you're doing a recalc, you usually don't have to do that, but for the first time, do make sure all of these things come into play. Your screen may have manual brightness settings, but with the Macs, we do have a software brightness setting here, so do make sure that's open because we will need to swap to that as it's going through its process. And then make sure that the Spyder is actually plugged into a USB port. Clicking on Next, and you do have some workflow options here, but I'm going to take you through the step-by-step assistant. So clicking on Next again. With Spyder you do have some options on calibration, but I'm going to go with a full calibration for this particular video. If you're new to this, I would go with the recommended settings, but white point, I mean in the past I have with a previous monitor actually changed the white point to get the prints coming off the printer to match exactly with what was going on the screen, and the only way to do that was to change the actual white point on that particular monitor. But as I said, go with recommended settings if you're new to this. I should point out there is usually some interactive help, so look out for that and do read it thoroughly. So we're going to go on to Next. And with Spyders we do get a warning come up here, and that's just to make sure that you've got your controls available for brightness, because within a minute or two it will ask you to change those. So we'll get rid of that, and it's now asking for the Spyder to be placed on the screen, usually in the centre of the screen. So let's get the Spyder on. So we'll just put the Spyder on. The backing plate acts as a weight, so we'll pop that around the back, lay it down, and we'll just push the screen back so it makes contact with the screen properly. We can now click on Next, and with the Spyder it does ask you to select the sensor. We'll move that out the way. We'll select the Spyder 5, and we'll put a warning for a recalibration check in a month's time. Before I click on Next, I am going to bring my blackout blind down. These are the conditions I work in. Click on Next. It will go through the process now up to the brightness adjustment, and that usually takes about a minute. We now have the brightness adjustments. Now mine's bang on, so I am going to change that for this video. So we'll just push that down a little bit, click on Update. Now let's go back and adjust this. So bring that brightness level up. There's always a bit of a guess. We want to get into this green area here, so clicking on Update. So we've come up a bit further. Let's take it a little bit further again. Click on Update. And there we go, that comes up. And we can click on Continue. So that will go through now the rest of the process, and I'll fast forward this till we get to the end. We can now give the profile a name. Now click on Save. Click on Next. It does give you the option to show a before and after, so if we click on Switch, and then that will show you a before, and switch again to show an after, just so you get an idea of how far out you were. Sometimes I will calibrate more than a month, usually if I'm doing a big print job or if I'm doing some judging on Zoom. Now there are some papers that occasionally need a little bit of tweaking, and if that's something that's quite regular with one particular paper, you can actually change things within here. If you come up to Spyder Tune, and that gives you the ability just to fine tune it to a particular paper, so bear that in mind. One of the reasons I prefer Permajet Smooth Pearl and Amiga Rag is because they really do work well with my calibration and the profiles that come from them, and it's very rare that I have to tweak those from the printer. Like I said, that's on rare occasions, but if you're happy with your profiles, with your calibration, stay with it as it is, and certainly if you're not printing and you're going with PDIs, don't do any tuning for those. You can, if you wish, compare to other colour spaces and have a look at Adobe RGB against sRGB. But in reality, we want Adobe RGB because hopefully you're shooting with your camera set on Adobe RGB. And that's it, just click quit and you're done. Just make sure you don't make any adjustments to your brightness levels, and there we are, all done. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, please consider subscribing at the end here.